As we approach the next decade of this millennium, it is clear that our world has witnessed sweeping changes during the past few years. Foremost on the minds of many concerned citizens are the global effects of climate change, which have led to the loss of myriad sacred lives and untold suffering. At this pivotal juncture, we are greatly blessed with individuals and organizations who have dedicated themselves to help save the planet. They are the world's heroes, named or unnamed. Now, more than ever, our Earth is in need of such voices of reason, courage, and compassion. This six-part series is an exploration of the immense contribution of a special individual whose life is an extraordinary example of unconditional service. Supreme Master Ching Hai is a spiritual teacher, humanitarian, and artist whose journey in the public eye has spanned more than 20 years. Her noble love has been manifested through her generous philanthropy. Her tender mercy has transformed humans' understanding of other beings, and her brilliant artistry has profoundly reminded us of our yearnings for the kingdom of God. In humanity's most challenging hour, Supreme Master Ching Hai is a shining light of hope, perseverance, and faith. Her message has touched the lives of countless people, bringing love and inner awakening to all corners of the globe.
With Supreme Master Ching Hai's unconditional dedication to uplift and beautify the world, she has often been the focus of media attention for her many endeavors. These include spiritual lectures, concerts, fashion shows, art exhibitions, and of course, her generous help to people throughout the world, be it in time of emergency or specific long-term need.
Well, we're very honored to be speaking to you.
I can see why everybody loves you so much, right from your first words, huh? You're so charming.
Various newspapers and magazines, television channels and radio stations have invited Supreme Master Ching Hai to be guests on their programs and featured her in their publications. It is through their reports that many people in different parts of the world have come to know about a modern spiritual master who has lovingly devoted herself to serving all beings. The Canada-based monthly magazine Aesthetics called her Lady of the 20th Century for the admiration she has garnered through her diverse accomplishments. No matter to which continent she has traveled to, Supreme Master Ching Hai has been requested to spare some of her time to meet with the media. Although the schedule for her international lecture tours has always been full, she often has set aside time in response to invitations for press conferences. Among other topics, journalists worldwide wish to know more about spiritual matters and the way to enlightenment.
But the most important is that because we're happy within ourselves, we're satisfied. Only when you're satisfied, then you can satisfy others. Only when you know how to love yourself, you know how great you are, then you can make others great or respect the greatness of other people. Therefore, all the masters say, know yourself. Or seek you first the kingdom of God, which is within you. That means yourself.
Und wir gehen rum jeden Tag, unsere Arbeit oder irgendwie Hausarbeit fertig zu machen. Oder verdienen wir oder kümmern wir uns mit den Kindern oder irgendwas. Und wir wissen überhaupt nicht, dass wir diese Größe in uns haben. Und wenn wir das entdeckt, es macht nicht wie wenig oder wie viel. Das ist die Erleuchtung.
In response to requests, Supreme Master Ching Hai has discussed her art creations with their profound and inspirational meanings. Moreover, her wisdom is sought on how to resolve many of the challenges we encounter in modern societies. Through thoughtful questions, the media has shared Supreme Master Ching Hai's spiritual insights with many. For countless people who have come to know her through the media, Supreme Master Ching Hai is a great role model in our times. In November 2006, Philippine President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo presented Supreme Master Ching Hai with the prestigious Gusi Peace Prize, the equivalent of the Nobel Prize in the East, for exemplary achievements in philanthropy and humanitarianism. The day after the ceremony, donning a light turquoise traditional long dress, Supreme Master Ching Hai attended a welcome luncheon and press conference for the laureates.
Respect her for her philanthropy and humanitarianism. She is the most reverend Supreme Master Ching Hai of Vietnam and Britain. Please give her a big round of applause.
Thank you, President. Thank you, all the distinguished and honorable guests. And thank you, the Philippines, for this great honor. I wish that I could do something more for the world, but I think a little drop of water does help. Every drop of water does help to fill the glass. So I'm one of the drop, and we are all dropping in. And we will have so many peace laureates in the future, and we all fill the Philippine land with all the peace people in the future.
For the tens of millions of dollars of her own funds she has given for charity and disaster relief works, and innumerable visits she has made to those in need to bring comfort and gifts year upon year, Supreme Master Ching Hai remains ever humble and has never sought any recognition or fame.
And we've heard that you go to places of suffering, places that have been hit by disasters, that kind of thing. Why do you go there?
You would go if you were me. If you have the means to help people, if God gives you more than you need, then you would go there and share the things you have with people, because that's what they are given to you for. Much is expected from whom much is given.
In recognition of her selfless works, government representatives and private organizations worldwide have gratefully presented Supreme Master Ching Hai awards on numerous occasions. In addition to the Gusi Peace Prize, Supreme Master Ching Hai has been the recipient of many prominent awards, including the World Spiritual Leadership Award and World Citizen Humanitarian Award, the Los Angeles Music Week Certificate of Commendation, and first place silver for the 27th Annual Telly Awards for her outstanding contributions to music as an art form and to the cultural enrichment of generations to come. Moreover, Supreme Master Ching Hai has been given the keys to many cities and lauded by leaders at various governing levels, from Seoul, South Korea, to Yerevan, Armenia, Manila, Philippines, to San Francisco, USA. Presidents, senators, and governors of the United States expressed their gratitude for her humanitarian works, and royal families of Asia and Africa welcomed her to visits with the highest honor.
On October 25, 1993, at a grand award ceremony in Hawaii, USA, Mayor Frank F. Fosse of the City and County of Honolulu presented the International Peace Commendation to Supreme Master Ching Hai. He further proclaimed that day as the Supreme Master Ching Hai Day.
Now therefore I, Frank F. Fosse, Mayor of the City and County of Honolulu, do hereby proclaim October 25, 1993, as the Supreme Master Ching Hai Day in the City and County of Honolulu, and offer heartfelt and sincere gratitude for the compassion and charity shown to the flood victims and for bringing peace and harmony to the lives of many.
In 1994, 6 governors of Midwestern states in the United States also named February 22nd as the Supreme Master Ching Hai Day. To congratulate Supreme Master Ching Hai on the 14th anniversary of this special day, former U.S. Governor of Iowa, the Honorable Mr. Terry E. Branstad, conveyed his best wishes to Supreme Master Ching Hai.
We still remember and appreciate the support that Supreme Master Ching Hai provided for the state of Iowa during the worst natural disaster in our state's history during the summer of 1993. Iowa has recovered very well from that. Well, I want to congratulate you on the anniversary of Supreme Master Ching Hai Day and in appreciation for the support we received during the flood of 93, and also the progress you've made with now offering satellite TV, 11 channels all over the world. So congratulations and keep up the good work.
Today, climate change has risen to the forefront of concern for both world leaders and co-citizens. Deeply concerned for the planet's and all her inhabitants' survival, Supreme Master Ching Hai has been devoted to help humanity embark on a sustainable path. Given the urgency of the situation, her proposed solution goes straight to the root of the matter. The fastest, most effective solution is for humans to return to compassion and be vegetarian.
In order to save ourselves, we must be vegetarian. A vegetarian diet is a non-violence in the highest sense, and a vegetarian diet is a love in action. Don't you think?
Yes, if you love animals, why eat them?
Yes. And a vegetarian diet will stop 80% of global warming, stop all the cruelty beginning on our plate, generating loving, kind energy around the world, stop water shortage and water pollution, stop food shortages, stop hunger and war, prevent deadly diseases, save enormous tax and medical bills to build a better world, and support new useful inventions and good people's organization. And now there is a spiritual aspect also. When a person partake in a direct or indirect killing of any sentient beings, be it human or animals, he or she enters the cycle of revenge and violence. And it will only end when one stops doing it. Hence, we have to love our enemy. Because only love and forgiveness will have the power to break the negative effect of hatred and vengeance.
On both spiritual and physical levels, the greater the number of people who change their diet and hearts, the more time we gain to curb the crisis. In particular, Supreme Master Ching Hai has emphasized the importance of the media in helping to stop global warming quickly.
That being a vegetarian is at least one thing everybody can do,
yes,
to save this planet.
It's just so easy to do to save the planet like that. And then the government have to help, maybe distribute more information, encouraging more vegetarian diet lifestyle. And the media help to spread out more news about the goodness of vegetarian. It have to be like a fashion. It's like a search of new wave information, new positive, constructive ideas and information about how good is a vegetarian diet. And it has been proven such and such. Just bombarding the whole planet with a new energy of compassion and love and health. Everybody will join in. Supportive energy is very important.
Following this call to raise greater awareness, members of the media have invited Supreme Master Ching Hai to in-depth interviews. In fact, Supreme Master Ching Hai has positively influenced some interviewers themselves, not to mention the vast number of people tuning in. One of Ireland's most famous radio stations, East Coast FM, invited Supreme Master Ching Hai to a live interview twice. Co-host Louise Kings was at the time a new vegetarian and was further motivated by her reading of Supreme Master Ching Hai's alternative living flyer at an exhibition booth in Dublin. The program's co-host, Mike, the Sandman, became a vegan after the interview with Supreme Master Ching Hai.
So I just want to say thank you very, very much. And
you have a recent convert there.
You certainly
Master
have a convert, and I am very difficult to convince. But I watched a lot of your program, and I watched some of the scientific programs you had on your TV, and I think that I'm convincing. And I really, really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us.
Supreme Master Ching Hai's wisdom and compassion have always been a source of inspiration. Many have become vegetarian, and still many others are encouraged to help the disadvantaged in their communities. Supreme Master Ching Hai has further advanced constructive work by duly recognizing the noble deeds of others. In the past, she has publicly awarded the most friendly flight attendant. She personally met with a group of school children at the Shihu Center to give rewards to students who have excelled in school. Having been invited to meet many government officials, Supreme Master Ching Hai conveys her special appreciation to leaders. By her own noble example, she quietly encourages those who are in service of God's children.
If you're watching Supreme Master Ching Hai, I'm very, very proud of you. I'm very impressed with what you have done, and I'm very, very lucky to be in your presence, even if you're not here. I feel you, and I see that your hands are guiding people like me to get their message out to the rest of the world. I thank you.
To commend virtuous actions and encourage more people to be inspired by their examples, Supreme Master Ching Hai has created a series of awards, starting with the Shining World Leadership Award.
Do you find the children also want to follow your footstep and become climbers themselves?
Well, first I want to give them good education. Without education, there's no choice. So when they're done the education, and then they can decide themselves.
My wish for a more peaceful world is let's look at our children. Let's think and what the world should be for our children, and let's behave consequently. In my little dimension, I try to do and respect all this every day.
Governments, organizations, and individuals have received this award for displaying enlightened leadership that betters the lives of humans or animals. Some of the past recipients include Brazil's President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva for his successful efforts to alleviate hunger, Apa Sherpa, the world record-holding Mount Everest climber devoted to help Nepalese children, the philanthropic Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, the European Union for its outstanding humanitarian deeds, and the Iranian Health Ministry for its nationwide smoking ban. The award ceremony was a highlight of the International Tobacco Day conference held in Tehran, Iran.
In special cases, Supreme Master Ching Hai has also presented the award in person. In May 2007, she presented the Shining World Leadership Award to Slovenia's second president, Dr. Janez Drnovšek, a vegan and outstanding keeper of peace for his nation. Earlier that year, Supreme Master Ching Hai presented the same award to 3 distinguished Philippine leaders, President Fidel Ramos, Senator Herson Alvarez, and Manuel Morato, individuals who years ago had helped to secure asylum for tens of thousands of Olaxese or Vietnamese refugees.
Thank you for this fine opportunity of having rediscovered ourselves, of being of service to our fellow human beings, and always to remind us and the rest of humanity that we must have a happy humanity.
We thank you, these gentlemen here, for their unconditional kindness in helping the fellow human beings in time of need. And we also thank groups of people or individuals who are so noble, who open their heart and open their home to welcome, to care for the desperate victims of war. In the whole world, we thank them all wherever they are. We thank them on behalf of not only the Vietnamese refugees, but all the refugees in the world. We thank them all for their exceptional charity, generosity, noble, unconditional love. We thank them all from the very heart of our heart. We thank them for healing the wounds of the war and for returning the dignity to the people who deserve.
There is also the Shining World Compassion Award, given to those working to better the well-being of other humans and our animal co-inhabitants. Recipients include the British Red Cross and the Iranian Red Crescent Society, foster parents, and individuals who care for abandoned animals. The recipients are recognized for their selfless, generous, and exemplary action to improve the lives of others around them.
امید روزی که صلح و صفا و صمیمیت و دوستی بین همه انسان‌های دنیا از هر تیره و نژاد و کشوری که هستند برقرار بشه.
Tolerancia y pokora.
I just wanted to thank you so much for this award. It means so much to me, and the donation is going to help so many stray and feral cats on the streets who have nobody to advocate for them. This award is beautiful, and I'm touched.
In addition are the Shining World Honesty Award, Shining World Protection Award, Shining World Intelligence Award, Shining World Invention Award, and the Shining World Hero and Heroine Awards.
Was home and I opened up my mail
and in the mail was a check, and it was $2,245,342. Yeah.
Quite a surprise. So eventually you decided to return the check.
It's straightforward. I mean, you know, when we're brought up with our parents and the way we look at our lives and who we are as a person, I mean, honesty is the best policy in anything we do in life.
Considerate of the situation of each award recipient, Supreme Master Ching Hai contributes gifts to further encourage their endeavors.
Supreme Master Ching Hai cannot be here tonight with us. However, on behalf of her, we would like to thank all of you for your unconditional love towards the animals, and present the Shining World Leadership Award to Lori Buston. And also to present a check of $10,000 US.
Supreme Master Ching Hai has been an unparalleled role model, inspiring people throughout the world to become the best human possible through her humility, courage, wisdom, and compassion. She has shown us our potential as cherished children of God.
I would like to thank Supreme Master Ching Hai for taking the time to join us this morning. Most of us have enough to do just to go about our own business and get through the day more or less happy and healthy. Supreme Master has much more responsibility than that. In a world which is increasingly dangerous and stressful for a large number of people, it is her calling to make a positive difference among humankind as a whole. Add to that her calling to address the welfare of animals, and her work takes on epic proportions.
Highly intended art forms do indeed dispel negative inclination, and they do inspire, comfort, and heal many parts, if not completely, all parts of our beings, and elevate us onto the higher level of thinking and living, and sure are very beneficial to us in many aspects.
Besides being a world-renowned spiritual teacher and humanitarian, Supreme Master Ching Hai is also a unique and versatile artist, poet and composer. With the artistic talents, Supreme Master Ching Hai creates oil paintings, pottery and stone paintings with an effortlessness that allows deep wells of love and knowledge to be naturally expressed. The artistic gifts she has realized come from her own inner realization and have been highly acclaimed in arts and literary circles throughout the years.
من خیلی تحت تاثیر قرار گرفتم از این همه سادگی و زیبایی. این کارها بسیار زیبا هستن و هر کدومشون جا دارن که ساعت‌ها صحبت بشه، ولی چیزی که من دارم میبینم و چیز مشترکی رو که در این کارها میبینم زیبایی، سادگی و اون خلوص نیتی که شما دارین در کارهاتون، من این رو دارم میبینم و شناخت عمیقتون نسبت به طراحی و رنگ. زندگیشون با عشق خلاصه شده.
Moon Night, The Stone Convention, Song of the Sea, Tender and Hardness. The carefully chosen names make us pause to reflect upon their meanings. Some paintings are portraits of the landscapes that Supreme Master Ching Hai has been to, such as Tian Shan Grove and the night view of Yanming Mountain. Other sceneries can only be explained as wondrous heavenly realms brought to earth through canvas and colours.
In addition to paintings and drawings, Supreme Master Ching Hai has created a wide range of exquisite artworks, including hand-painted stones and fans, ceramics, landscape architecture, mountain caves, and more. One day, an assistant saw that lamps in stores are most often mass-produced, and that artistic handmade lamps were not easy to find. It was suggested that Supreme Master Ching Hai design some lamps, and that disciples skilled in carpentry craft them. Supreme Master Ching Hai graciously agreed and quickly laid many designs on paper. Soon, elegant and specially styled lamps were born. She called them longevity lamps to symbolize the eternal light. Supreme Master Ching Hai's styles and forms of aesthetic expression are indeed limitless. In simply arranging a plate of fruit, the artist creates a model of harmony. Even the land and space itself can be recreated, all the while maintaining perfect balance with the original landscape. In just several days, Supreme Master Ching Hai, along with some association members she guided, built a crystal clear stream. Its cherished name, Nectar River.
因为我们如果早期到过西湖的人都知道，它是一个狂风吹沙剪，那个风沙是用剪的。自从师父建了这个甘露河之后，它的微气候整个被改变。我们坐到树下啦，坐到任何一个地方，就甘露河附近啊，你都会觉得都有风，有空气能够对流。它整个物理环境是因为这一条小溪，把整个的环境都改变了。 改变到更让人很舒服的，可以在里面打坐。那师父同时也移了一些树，也种了一点树。那种了这些树的时候，它造成一个树景的一个空间的变化，然后制造了非常多的端景。所以我们如果走在甘露河上面的时候，你往左看，往右看，往前看。 往后看，你都会看到不同的端景。
Nectar River is located at the Shihu Center in Formosa or Taiwan, where Supreme Master Ching Hai had also constructed beautiful mountain caves and a playground for children fondly known as the Rainbow Garden. Supreme Master Ching Hai's spiritual teachings encompass all aspects of life, as all outer beauty is a manifestation of inner beauty. In short, she has shared with us how to approach the art of living. She has taught the way of having family harmony, tips on keeping a clean environment, and the best way to beautify oneself, inside and out.
Supreme Master Qinghai has also designed her own robes, marked by elegance and simplicity. For the Moon Festival, she donned an ethereal moon goddess dress for a celebration with our association members. Over time, at the earnest request of those around her, Supreme Master Qinghai's fashion designs were introduced to the public. Exhibited for the first time in Chicago, USA in February 1994, Supreme Master Qinghai's creations were favorably received by the public at large. Soon an SM Celestial Clothes boutique was opened in Macau, just after her latest SM Autumn-Winter collection was presented at a high-profile press conference in Hong Kong.
From April to May in 1995, SM Celestial Clothes travelled on the international fashion circuit to the major fashion capitals of the world, New York, London, Paris and Milan, and to the great acclaim of the fashion world. In the SM Celestial Clothes logo, the SM stands for Supreme Master, signifying the Supreme Master power within everyone. The logo is an interweaving of red and gold colours and is woven onto each piece. Red symbolises the physical body, and the gold symbolises the radiant kingdom of God within.
In addition to apparel, to date, Supreme Master Qinghai has designed more than a dozen series of SM Celestial jewelry. Featuring the best quality precious metals and gemstones, all have been crafted at the highest level of skill by a commissioned group of royal artisans. In many ways, Supreme Master Qinghai's celestial clothes and jewelry reflect the resplendence and glory of God's kingdom.
Celui-là, je crois qu'il faut au moins qu'on le montre parce qu'il est très très beau.
Like a perfect method of liberation.
Comme une méthode parfaite de libération.
Like we teach people how to meditate and to find their own peace and liberation within this life. It's represented by the boat to take people to safety to the other side of the sea through the waves and the typhoon and all that.
Est-ce à dire que si je porte un bijou comme celui-là, je vais aller mieux?
If I wear such a jewel, do I feel better?
You would be reminded of your own greatness.
Cela vous rappellera votre propre grandeur.
You'll be reminded of the liberation of heaven.
Cela vous rappellera la libération du paradis.
That makes you more inspired to learn, to practice, to perfect yourself until you become the master of yourself.
Cela vous inspirera à pratiquer, à devenir parfait jusqu'à ce que vous deveniez maître de vous-même.
Then you will forget the trouble of this world. You will rise above all the trouble, like the boat rise above the sea.
Et vous oublierez les ennuis de ce monde, vous vous élèverez au-dessus des ennuis comme le bateau au-dessus, comme un bateau qui vogue sur la mer.
Since her childhood, Supreme Master Qinghai has written beautiful poems. In her verses, we can see that even at a young age, she understood with depth and full sympathy for the sorrows and joys of life and the eternal longing for true love.
Đêm qua ta mơ chăn gối hiền hòa, chậm thoáng hương đưa ngày đó mặn mà. Người còn bên ta, tình còn bao la, tình còn bao la.
In some of her poetry, Supreme Master Qinghai observes and feels the suffering of the world around her, praying for peace for all. She also has composed songs with the lyrics of these poems.
Go to the future, go, 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 go to Shangri-La, go, 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 go to the future, go, 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 above the
adolescent years, the pen name Phi Vung was used by Supreme Master Ching Hai. Only in recent years did the public discover that the gifted and profound poet Phi Vung is none other than Supreme Master Ching Hai. Her poetry has inspired many other artists to compose an abundance of popular songs with her verses as lyrics. An advocate of traditional and folk arts, Supreme Master Ching Hai is also a superb reciter of Aulaxese or Vietnamese poetry. Her soothing and touching recital voice has been broadcast on radio and television channels. Some of her treasured recitals are featured in such DVD titles as An Ancient Love, Traces of Previous Lives, The Jeweled Verses, and The Golden Lotus. All these are now available via www.smchbooks.com.
Supreme Master Ching Hai has always been a lover of the arts and has contributed financially to communities of performing and visual artists that she has come across in different parts of the world. In March 2007, Supreme Master Ching Hai accepted an invitation to attend the World Theatre Day held by the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, or UNESCO, in Paris, France. The conference focused on intercultural understanding through the arts, while especially recognizing the Arab world's contribution to theatre. As an honored guest, Supreme Master Ching Hai showed her support of the celebration, donning beautiful Arab costumes and visiting with the dignitaries there.
In the past, a number of benefit concerts, such as Traces of Previous Lives and Love Songs, held in Long Beach, California, USA in 1996, and A Journey Through Aesthetic Realms, held in Washington, D.C., USA in 1997, were organized by the Supreme Master Ching Hai International Association, with Supreme Master Ching Hai as the honored guest. Proceeds of the events were donated to various charities. The One World of Peace Through Music, held in December 1998, was a third benefit concert, also of a grand scale. The event took place at the famous Shrine Auditorium in Los Angeles, California, USA. Some of the most brilliant conductors, composers, and musicians of Hollywood united for one noble cause: to benefit two children's charities, the Starlight Children's Foundation and St. Jude Children's Research Hospital in the United States. Supreme Master Ching Hai presented gifts in the total amount of $250,000. Four distinguished American composers, Bill Conti, Fred Karlan, Peter Boyer, and Maria Newman, all contributed their outstanding talents by presenting Supreme Master Ching Hai's poems to richly orchestrated music.
She stays on the other side of the sea. Each one point its blues. Each one point its
Filling the vast hall of 6,000 people that night was an extraordinary masterpiece called The Peace Seeker, a musical dramatic epic by the Oscar and Emmy award-winning composer Fred Karlan. This special symphonic portrait brought together a set of poems written by Supreme Master Ching Hai.
14 minutes journey-weaving music, drama and the poet's heartfelt verses, it featured a 60-piece orchestra, 3 actors, a folk rock band, vocalists and the 25-member Pasadena Boys Choir. When asked about his choice to call the piece The Peace Seeker, Fred Karlin said, "I took that line from her, mentioning that for all peace seekers there's the wisdom of the sage, realizing that we can look within us to find the way." The Peace Seeker went on to win first place silver for the 27th Annual Telly Awards as one of 13,000 international entries in 2006.
Music, art, and all kind of artistic expression of our human life are much appreciated around the world, because art is also an expression from the divine. Yes, everything is beautiful, virtuous, and truthful is the expression of the divine. We express art from our divine inspiration. And many of the artists and many of the musicians, our poets, they are half saints. That's what they say in India. And if they did a little bit half, and then they become a complete Buddha or saint.
Touched by Supreme Master Ching Hai's compassion, St. Jude Children's Research Hospital invited her to their annual gala, which was attended by many Hollywood movie stars and musicians. Following this event, Supreme Master Ching Hai was invited as a special guest to the Oscar celebrations in Hollywood, California, USA. Celebrities such as Stella Stevens, Tony Curtis, Mark Hamill, Rod Steiger, and astronaut Buzz Aldrin had an opportunity to meet with Supreme Master Ching Hai during these festivities.
Went to the Oscar night gala. She's like a light, and middle of in a dark place. If you go and see light, people without knowing her, they just come and say hi and give her a hug. Hollywood celebrities, something happened in that room that day. Yeah, you can feel something happening. Strangers came and say hi. The Supreme Master Ching Hai. I'm being amazed, and I'm amazed every time I see her.
In 2008, more stars came together for meaningful causes. In June, our association's Taipei Center in Formosa, or Taiwan, organized a unique concert and invited professional bands and singers to raise awareness about the planet's current plight. The Veg Love for Mother Earth concert was a great success, an appeal for compassion and peace through music. In September 2008, to celebrate the second anniversary since it first went on air, Supreme Master Television hosted a concert called A Cultural Celebration Honoring All Life, hosted by vegetarian Hollywood star Billy McNamara and vegan actress Mariana Tosca, and guest speaker, film producer Bernie Williams. The event was a melodic journey traveling from Irish folk to Mexican mariachi to the sounds of ancient China and classical Europe. Along with new stars were cherished friends from the One World Benefit concert, such as soprano Kerry Walsh and composer George Thatcher, who were eager to premiere their own new pieces based on Supreme Master Ching Hai's poems. Supreme Master Ching Hai was the guest of honor and addressed the audience with a moving speech.
I thank you ever so much for using your even transcendent fame to lend the voice to the helpless animals. And also, we help to save the world as well. And your compassion is very, very great and very touching to us. And I'm sure it is touching to millions of viewers around the world, knowing how busy you are and that you have everything in your fingertip. Still, you save time, your energy, and your precious moments to help with the great cause, which is saving the poor animals and rescuing our planet. I am sure heaven will take note, and I take note. I do take note, and I'm very touched. And maybe this trend will keep growing and growing one day, and who knows, maybe you and I will live to see the day that all the animals are safe and the whole planet has grown into a greater awareness of being compassionate and loving, and that will be heaven on the planet.
What is the purpose of human life? Who are we and where do we come from? How can we get in touch with the divine while on this earth? The answers to these and many other perplexing questions, universally shared across cultures, have been answered for many through the spiritual teachings of Supreme Master Ching Hai. One significant means has been the enriching world of books. Since the 1980s, upon the earnest request of spiritual seekers, Supreme Master Ching Hai's great spiritual knowledge has been imparted through recording and the publication of her spoken lectures. Since first published in 1987, the volumes of The Key to Immediate Enlightenment have brought forth a vast array of topics pertinent to spiritual growth, no matter what the religion or nationality of the reader. These books have been translated into more than dozens of languages and continue to assist those in search of true happiness.
Due to the wishes of those around her, Supreme Master Ching Hai allowed the publication of her poetry, written over decades of her personal life experiences. They are now shared with the world in collections including Silent Tears, Pebbles and Gold, Traces of Previous Lives, and Wu Tzu. Some are also brought to life in songs available in DVDs, such as Buddha's Sadness, Since I've Loved You, Dream in the Night, and Beyond the Realm of Time. Supreme Master's 3 phenomenal books, The Birds in My Life, The Dogs in My Life, and The Noble Wilds, reveal the secret of God's creation, that the members of all species are equal souls. With colorful photographs and vivid anecdotes, the author takes us on a journey into the wonderful inner lives of dogs and birds, in part through actual telepathic communication with them. The Noble Wilds unveils even more secrets from the animal kingdom, gained through intimate contact with them in the enchanted forest haven, Amora.
J'ai été très surprise en ouvrant le livre parce que je m'attendais à un livre avec beaucoup de textes, et quand je l'ai ouvert, j'ai vu que c'était quelque chose de tellement simple, tellement paisible à lire. J'ai vraiment ressenti comme un cadeau de la part de Supreme Master, le fait qu'elle nous livre ces aspects-là de sa vie intime avec les oiseaux. À travers ce livre, on peut mieux la connaître, et c'est vraiment de l'amour à l'état pur qu'on peut retrouver aussi bien à travers le texte qu'à travers les photos.
All of these books crowned the #1 best-selling lists of world's largest international bookstores, such as Amazon.com, which carries over 10 million books, and Kingstone.com, the largest online bookstore in the Chinese language. They have also received much attention in the most recent major international book fairs.
It's a very nice book. It's well done. The design is perfect. And if you read the sentences, they are talking to you.
I was very touched by the human side, by the pacifistic side, and by the aura that emanates. I have bought the 3 books, and I'm going to read them and read them to my young nephews and children in the family.
In an international video conference, Supreme Master Ching Hai discussed her motivation for writing the books whose message comes at a time when the planet needs it most.
I would like to offer the people of the world more insight into the lives of our beneficial friends and neighbors, that is the animals, of all sizes and all shapes, in the hope that more understanding and respect will blossom between human and different species. I'm really glad that you like my book and the photos, yes. And I hope it brings joy into your heart and nourish your love evermore for all in our beautiful animal kingdom.
Lifestyle is the key to the well-being of ourselves and that of the planet. The realization of health, returning to the natural and righteous way of living, stands apart from other health advice books. This anthology is comprised of excerpts from Supreme Master Ching Hai's various discussions on spiritual ways to live a balanced life. The book was released in thousands of 7-Eleven stores and 110 Kingstone bookstores throughout Formosa or Taiwan.
看起来有蛮多吸引我的地方，它每一个章节其实都还蛮想继续看下去，特别是到最后这边写到乐观展望和地球一起健康，那刚好现在大家在强调要素食抗暖化也好啦，或是整个要怎么样减碳拯救地球，这边好像有蛮多资讯值得我再看一下的，还有包括个人的健康的部分。
Supreme Master Ching Hai also supports books written by other authors that help to advance peace in our world, such as Dr. Will Tuttle's World Peace Diet, Eating for Spiritual Health and Social Harmony. On November 30th, 2007, the Supreme Master Ching Hai International Association facilitated the release of the Chinese edition of Slovenian President Dr. Janez Drnovšek's best-selling book entitled Thoughts on Life and Consciousness. The book has since continued to be sought after, carrying its message of peace throughout the world.
In December 2008, our association members commemorated the 20th anniversary of the founding of the Sihu Center in Formosa or Taiwan by compiling a special book. The volume entitled Celestial Art tells on each page about the works of art that have been crafted in the gentle and knowing hands of a benevolent spiritual teacher.
我认为他是一种自创性的艺术家，也就是说，他的灵感和他的才华来自一种天赋的。他的在运用他的色彩也好，运用他的笔的话，我觉得他是很自然的、很童趣的。最难的艺术作品是回复到童年的无邪的心来画世界的万物嘛。他在画的中间应该是充满一种喜悦，或充满一种爱心，或充满跟物我两忘的境界去画画的。
What a great book she and the disciples have brought to this world. You know, we all love seeing art. Art stirs the soul, and she has some great art to share with the world.
There are many ways for an enlightened master to touch one's innermost heart. And once touched, a light of love shines through it eternally. In deep gratitude to Supreme Master Ching Hai, may we move toward a peaceful planet thriving by all that has been illuminated by your precious presence.
May 2008. Hundreds of parents, many with young children, gathered in Melbourne's Federation Square in Australia to join in a united call for action on climate change. The children wrote their names and ages on a banner that read, "Save our climate now," as a record of the future generation to be protected.
If we want to secure a safe future for our kids, we have to get serious about it now and start to reduce our energy consumption.
In April 2007, the United Nations Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, representing 100 nations and 2,500 scientists, issued its fourth assessment report on climate change. It was the strongest assertion to date, confirming that climate change was real, caused by human activities, and that inevitably, we would have to brace for a range of harmful consequences. Effects would range from increasing hunger in developing countries to loss of life-sustaining glaciers in the Himalayas, which in turn lead to cycles of floods and droughts. The sinking of entire island nations and gradual disappearance of coastlines are already well-documented realities. According to the United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, approximately 50 million people a year are displaced as a consequence of natural disasters, many of which are intensified by global warming. Extinction of animal species is happening daily. Even subtle changes to land, water, and air would eventually affect our very lives.
In the 1980s, Dr. James Hansen was one of the first to sound the alarm before congressional committees of the imminent disastrous consequences of climate change. Now, 2 decades later, awareness of the planet's urgent state has crossed the scientific community borders to ever increasingly concerned politicians and the public.
We have reached a point where we have a real emergency.
For his dedicated work that continues till this day, Dr. Hansen received the Shining World Hero Award from Supreme Master Ching Hai. Today, Dr. Hansen is one of the leading climate authorities. Fortunately, he and a host of other experienced and genuinely concerned scientists are continuing to urge for immediate action for the very survival of our planet.
Global warming is about 1 degree Celsius. And weather variations are much larger than that from one day to another. So you don't notice that there's a crisis, but in fact, we are at a crisis point now.
Scientists say that the pace of action of society has not been nearly fast enough to avert grave dangers. Dr. David Suzuki, a highly esteemed scientist, is also devoted to alerting the public.
We have created the illusion that everything is all right because we're using up the rightful legacy of our children and grandchildren.
In early 2008, the U.S. National Aeronautics and Space Administration, or NASA, presented new data predicting that all the ice in the Arctic region would disappear by the summer of 2012.
With the ice being crucial to reflecting the sun's heat, this means that climate changes could happen at a much faster rate than ever predicted, even within the past few years. In December 2007, at an international seminar with our association members in France, Supreme Master Ching Hai shared her insights about our planetary crisis.
Because if the ice all melt, if the pole all melt out, yeah, and then if the sea is warm, then the gas might be released from the ocean and it might be poisoned by the gas from the ocean. No need to talk about flooding or warm climate, nothing yet. Capish? Yeah. The ocean bed have a lot of poisonous gas, and if it's warm, the surface, it will be released. The way it stay down there because cold down there. right now, yeah? But if the ocean water is too warm, the gas will be released.
If the methane from the hydrates were to escape and actually make it to the atmosphere, methane is actually a much stronger greenhouse gas than carbon dioxide is. And so this could lead to stronger warming than we would get just from the carbon dioxide. It's a huge amount. There's so much of it that if a fraction of it, say 10%, were somehow to get out to the atmosphere all at once, it would be the same as changing the CO2 concentration by a factor of 10. It would just be apocalyptic.
The way it is going, if they don't fix it, 4 or 5 years time, finito. No more. It's really that urgent.
It was apparent that the knowledge of the dangers related to global warming was not yet widely known. Concerned, Supreme Master Television invited Supreme Master Ching Hai to speak at the video conference in February 2008, where solutions averting peril were explored.
And the last thing maybe we could do is, as the power of the thoughts, like if all the association members in the world could meditate 2 hours a week just centered on this idea, and could that help and help to make it faster, to speed up the change?
Yeah, very good. But we have to meditate on something like that the people on the planet have to become vegetarians. It's not just the technologies, because the karma is more important than just the technology. So we have to meditate on vegetarianism for all the people to have peace and to be vegetarian. And the technology added to it as well.
For more than 20 years, Supreme Master Ching Hai has been aware of the coming challenges and expressed on many occasions her concern about humans' treatment toward the environment. She spoke about global warming long before it had risen in public agendas.
Every minute, every year we cut down forests as big as England just to raise animals. So how many rainforests has been destroyed? And this change atmosphere, you know what I mean? Change atmosphere, change the rain. That's why our planet is heating up, and then many places are having problem with flood and also drought, long period.
In 2006, the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization reported that 18% of all greenhouse gas emissions are produced from raising livestock, and that 13.5% of total emissions come from transportation. This meant that the livestock industry is more responsible for global warming than all the world's cars, trucks, trains, and airplanes combined. Researchers at the University of Chicago in the United States reported that a vegetarian diet saves 50% more carbon emissions than switching from a Chevrolet Suburban SUV to a Toyota Prius hybrid.
We depleted the earth because we raise cattle and animals. Actually, this is another way to contribute to our earth planet. You know all this. You read books about vegetarian, about how to save our world, about environmental love and all kind of things. And vegetarian diet is the answer to all these questions. Our earth is collapsing because we eat too much meat.
Each year, more than 50 billion farmed animals are raised and slaughtered in the world. 33% of all global arable land is used to raise crops, grains, and soybeans that feed the animals rather than humans. 70% of the Amazon rainforest, which plays a major role in absorbing carbon dioxide gas, has been cleared in recent decades for animal pasture. While planting trees is important, a faster, more immediate solution is also needed.
So if we want to save the planet, if we want to preach environmental care, we should be vegetarian. There's no other thing to do, right? And that is just a small thing compared to all the vaccination and all the water, pure water used for meat and things like that. But the harmful effect of the meat diet is larger than life.
Just to give you a number, a person who lives 70 years as a vegan will prevent over 100 tons of CO2 equivalent. So let's say if 1 billion people were to do that throughout their lifetimes, they would be cutting 100 billion tons of CO2 equivalent. That's a substantial reduction. And change in consumption patterns will be required to achieve a low carbon and sustainable society.
From the United Nations Conference on Biodiversity in Bonn, Germany, to the World City Summit in Singapore, global food crisis, climate change, social injustice, public health, and sustainability were all important themes. These are also intricately linked to meat consumption.
Everything concerned with meat diet had reportedly wasted a lot of human substance, and it is the cause of starvation of many countries. It takes a lot of food, protein, medicine, transport, water to feed a cow, and these things came from underdeveloped country too. And this protein and food could have been fed and could have been distributed in a different way in order to feed the whole world, instead of feeding a cow and we eat a cow. It's second-hand stuff anyhow.
Today, vast numbers of farmed animals are bred and then forced to consume grains, nearly half the world's grain supply. As a result, hundreds of millions of people are suffering from hunger and malnourishment. In short, whether we believe it or not, animal agriculture has put human lives into jeopardy.
We need to cut our meat consumption, increase fruit and vegetable consumption, increase the consumption of pulses and grains. The quicker we get on with it, the less painful it will be, the less damage we'll do the planet, and the changes we want to make are going to improve life, improve the quality of life. And we've got that power. We can change things, and I think that's exciting.
Meat consumption globally needs to come down. The evidence seems to point to that unequivocally. Animal production is going to have to come down.
We focus on 3 areas: what we eat, where we live, and how we move. We just ask people to give up meat 1 day a week. If people forego meat 1 day a week, you can measure exactly what the impact is, because cows especially are very, very ecologically expensive. And in terms of the amount of water that you use, in terms of the amount of hormones and chemicals that are used, and in terms of the grain that it takes to feed cows, they are very, very hard on the environment.
There are many things that people can do to reduce their carbon emissions, but changing your light bulb and many of the things are much less effective than changing your diet, because if you eat further down on the food chain rather than animals which have produced many greenhouse gases and used much energy in the process of growing that meat, you can actually make a bigger contribution in that way than just about anything. So that's, in terms of individual action, is perhaps the best thing you can do.
So nowadays many people believe that vegetarian diet can save the world and minimize a lot of war. I do not oppose this idea. Maybe in the very near future we should try at least to see how it works, and then we can comment. But I believe it will work, provided each of us support it and try to cooperate.
a spiritual teacher, Supreme Master Ching Hai has shown people the way to be in touch with their divine inner self. Millions of people have chosen to follow her suggested guidelines. Being vegetarian, refraining from intoxicants such as alcohol, cigarettes and drugs, and do good for others unconditionally. She teaches what the sages have told since time immemorial. We reap what we sow.
The law of cause and effect is always very correct. So the only thing we can save ourselves is to be compassionate, to change into a more noble, benevolent lifestyle. No meat, no animals product. Then you can see immediately the weather will change. Everything will return to a more peaceful, abundant, because heaven is merciful. And we have to start to be merciful like heaven. Then we can experience heaven. There's no other way we can prevent such a disaster like this. That's the only thing I can tell you. The way we are doing right now are destructive by all means, physically, mentally, scientifically, morally, which is all wrong. We cause suffering to others. We cannot expect happiness in return. What we have been doing, bringing us disaster and trouble and maybe mass destruction in the very near future. So if we want to have a good result, we have to start doing good. Be veg, go green, and do good deeds.
Through her numerous lectures, discussions, interviews, and conferences taken place around the world, Supreme Master Ching Hai has inspired vast numbers of people to choose to be vegetarian. She has long ago practiced the sustainable, green way of life and has encouraged others to do likewise.
You say you use less hot water, less shower less time, and don't keep water running while you're showering. I don't keep water running while you're brushing your teeth. Turn off your computer, turn off the light when you don't need, turn off anything standing by that you don't need. Then you will save maybe 10% of your bills. Yeah? Water and electricity together. And then with that money, you do what you want with it. Even spend it on yourself, have fun, help some poor people, yeah? Help some orphan, anything you can do. Yeah? Try to spare, yeah? To save money any way you can. Not just because of money, but also to save the planet.
Supreme Master Ching Hai has been invited to speak in different countries on climate change. Government leaders, members of the media, and representatives of religions and educational institutions were present and participated in the dialogue. Supreme Master Ching Hai has also graciously accepted invitations from our association members around the world, from Europe to Asia to the Americas, to respond to their questions about global warming.
We have to tackle the root of the problem. The root of problem is the cause of global warming. And that root is our unkindness to our co-inhabitants. And we have also been unkind to our environment. In order to solve the problem that we are facing right now, we have to reverse our actions. We have to be kind to our co-inhabitants. And the powerful, collective, positive, and loving power of the whole world will repel darkness that are coming toward us, that is facing us right now. How easy to stop global warming? If we just change to animal-free diet, change to vegetarian lifestyle, then we will have the chance to keep this home that we so love, also for our future children. If the world were to go 100% vegetarian right now, the good effect of it will be seen within more or less 60 days. The more vegetarian people, the less killing of the animals, the more time we have to rescue the planet and the lives on the planet. God has created enough water for us, enough food for us to last even forever. If we but know how to stop abusing the earth's resource and her sustenance. We should not kill our fellow beings to satisfy our greed. And this is the main point of planetary problem right now. Our overly spending of our moral merit and world resource. Just leave that piece of meat out of your diet. Let peace begin on your table.
This conference is a very necessary conference, and I hope there'll be many, many more.
I had an important chance to join the seminar about global warming. Supreme Master Ching Hai told us 2/3 of our global citizens should be vegetarians to save our globe. And I think it is very important. I hope all the people know the truth and try to put the truth into practice.
And I found that Master Ching Hai was a very informative, very powerful, passionate speaker who left my life a little bit altered. Perhaps from this point on, I'll reconsider our consequences when we eat meat. I know that there are other alternatives, and I know also we can also save a lot of the people from diseases. I found out today that over $121 billion a year is being spent just on meat-related diseases. 72 million animals are being consumed in one form or another weekly around the globe. It's a very startling and intelligent conference, and I thank you, Master Ching Hai, for allowing us to be here at this conference to spread this important message about veganism and being a vegetarian.
Supreme Master Ching Hai has also been invited to interviews by the press, radio and television stations to speak about the way to halt climate change. In her interview with Ireland's leading newspaper, Irish Independent, Supreme Master Ching Hai called upon the world leaders to take unprecedented action.
I would say to the world leaders to please give people more ample encouragement for an animal-free lifestyle because it's wholesome, it's healthy, it's noble, and it will save the world. Please forego all the needless protocol and policy. It's emergency now. We need different action and immediate actions to save the world. It's urgent. Please be a hero leader. The world citizens look up to you for saving their lives, and the future generations will remember your righteous legends. Use your mighty power for this noble cause, because you have only one time to take this extraordinary action. You have only one time, only this time to save the planet. Please do it.
Supreme Master Ching Hai has also reiterated that the active and open endorsement of a vegetarian diet by governments and media is crucial for the solution to be effective.
Each second, an area the size of a football field of tropical rainforest is destroyed to produce 257 hamburgers. Do you feel that if the public were to know this information, that they would move to a more sustainable diet?
Yes, in my opinion, they would. You see, the problem is very little of this information, such as this, is propagated for the public knowledge. We are inundated with many other news, which is not all as urgent as saving the forest and saving the planet. The world leaders, I think, in my humble opinion, should work together in this important issue, and so does the media. And by the way, thank you. You are one of the positive, and we're grateful. You're helping the environment.
In 2008, there has been tremendous progress in efforts to be veg and go green. Cities and countries declared intentions to reduce emissions, plant trees, switch light bulbs, and even be among the first carbon-neutral communities. More nations began cooperating to preserve forests, oceans, and other ecosystems. Major cities everywhere hosted their first Green Living Expos, informing people on what eco-friendly alternative products are available. Dr. Rajendra Pachauri, head of the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change and a vegetarian, called on people to eat less meat and to conserve energy. Recently, there have been more positive media focusing on bringing constructive ideas, such as on sustainable living, to the public. More of the mainstream media is reporting about climate change, especially related to the environmental solution of vegetarianism.
So what would be your advice to everybody as to how we could fix this situation?
Okay, it's easily fixed. One, we reduce our energy consumption, we switch to renewable energy and energy efficiency. They're available now, and they work. We can cut down on all of our meat consumption.
那所以说，像现在您刚提到说，火星以前也像现在的地球一样。那目前在全世界有一个大家在探讨的观点，例如说全球暖化的问题。那这个问题到底严不严重啊？地球会真的有所谓世界末日吗？
会严重，如果我们没有想办法改善的话，会严重，会很快严重，来不及想的。They did have a chance, but they did not do it.
Why is that, Master?
Because they did not know about the vegetarian diet that could change. At that moment, there are not enough people to stand up and communicate the urgency of the planet as well as the solution like vegetarian diet. The way we are doing now.
And Master, how about our planet? Do people know the chance?
There are some people who doesn't know what to do. And of course some people who knows what to do because we inform them or United Nations inform them or the scientists inform them, but they still did not change their habit. So if we continue not changing our habit, then the planet will be destroyed, just the way Mars has been destroyed. Right now we are doing a lot of things. We inform people and distributing leaflets and all that. But we will have to rely on heaven's grace if we are to survive.
Unless we act immediately to radically reduce emissions, we face a bleak future. We need a policy to encourage people to eat less meat.
And therefore, I always say that if you eat less meat, you will be healthier and so would the planet.
I would say be veg, go green, and save our planet. And I'd like to say this to Supreme Master Television. Best wishes for your endeavors towards a sustainable world. Thank you.
My name is Jens Holm. I'm a member of the European Parliament. Please, be veg, go green, save the planet.
最想提起的讯息就是，请大家能够永远不要认为已经太慢了。我觉得吃素食餐呢，也就是一个具体爱地球的表现。吃素、环保、救地球。Be veg, go green, save the planet.
G'day, I'm Andrew Bartlett. I was Senator in the Australian Parliament from the state of Queensland for over 10 years. I'd just like to say, go veg, go green, save our planet.
Murányi Marian vagyok, műsorvezető a Danubius Rádiónál, és ön a Supreme Master Television-t nézi. Legyél vega, legyél zöld, hogy megmentsük a bolygót.
Be veg, go green, save the planet.
If we are going to survive as a species, we have to understand that our job is not to do everything. Our job is to do everything that we can do. And I charge you today with a very simple, straightforward charge. All you have to do is what you can do. Go veg, go green, save the planet. Thank you very much.
Well, my prayer would be that people recognize how wonderful creation is, how the planet is incredible, the life we have on this planet. You can call it creation, you can call it whatever you like, depending on your religion or your not religion, but it's something that is so wonderful that we have to preserve it. Greetings to Supreme Master TV. My message to you is be veg, go green, save the planet.
Could you explain about the end of the world?
We can change the end of the world. Traditions also have come true in the past because the way we are abusing our planet, the way we are building bombs, the way we are affecting ourselves, killing ourselves, damaging our spirit, body, and minds with drugs, with a lot of negative thinking and murdering each other and destroying forests for raising animals, and killing mass animals and things like that, or mass killing human beings through wars, ignorance. Then the world might end very soon. We have even damaged the ozone layer, which protects our Earth. And we indulge ourselves in a lot of misconduct, which consequently brings disease and disaster into our life and into our family life. But we could change it. We could avert this disaster. If we love our planet so much, then we have to purify ourselves so that the atmosphere of this planet will become reasonable for us to live in and for our children to grow with.
Don't you know the world is longing to see the light? Don't you know the world is longing to hear the right? I know the world is crying, I know the world is waiting for someone to break the night, for someone to be the guide. Let's come along to see and hear the guide and call her name, Suma Qinghai. Wherever she goes, love shows the way. Wherever she stays, life's filled of grace.
As we usher in the year 2009, we deeply thank Supreme Master Ching Hai for your invaluable presence on our Earth planet at this time, and for the innumerable ways that you are leading humanity to a higher ideal and a brighter future. We pray that the world may soon awaken to a peaceful planet in God's grace and glory.
Let's come along to see and hear the guide and call her name, Suma Qinghai. Wherever she goes, love shows the way. Wherever she stays, life's filled of grace. Let's come along to see and hear the guide and call her name, Suma Qinghai. Let's join to her to see the light, to do the right, to learn the truth. Show me the way. Suma Qinghai. Suma Qinghai.
now.